The following program, The Lightning Strike, is sponsored by Mohammed Fahim, and to the extent applicable, their guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of NewsWeb Radio Company or its management.
Get ready to be jolted out of the ordinary and into a world where conversations are charged with intensity and facts. The Lightning Strike Talk Radio with your host, Mohammed Fahim, broadcasting live from the heart of the city on Chicago's Progressive Talk Radio, WCPT 820 AM. Welcome to a radio show that charges through the airwaves with an electricity like no other. Here's your host, Mohammed Fahim.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to the Lightning Strike. I'm your host, Mohammed Fahim, in the studios over here. And with me in the studios today, Alderman John Arena.
Good morning.
Ken DeLuke.
Howdy, folks.
And Sheila White, our producer of the Person of the Week. And Sheila, you want to talk a little bit about who our Person of the Week is going to be today?
Yes, good morning. Our Person of the Week is going to be Dr. Farmer, who is the Vice President of Joliet Junior College. And she's doing a phenomenal work over there. The college is exploding with programs and doing a lot of things with young people and older people as well. So we're looking forward to talking with her on today.
Absolutely. And thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. We are live on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/TLS Chicago for the Lightning Strike. And you can also listen to us live on the heartlandsignal.com website and also on the WCPT/Facebook page for WCPT. So there's all kinds of places that you can listen to us. After the show, you can go back to tlsradio.com to catch the show on an archive basis. And you can also listen to us on SoundCloud, and you can listen to us on iHeartRadio. You can go back and listen to us on Spotify. So there's plenty of avenues for you to tune in to what's happening. And Progressive Talk Radio, folks, is going to be very critical in the upcoming 4 years. We were checking to see how many progressive stations are there, John, that would take a show like ours. Mm-hmm. So we are working with a broker, nationwide broker, who works with like 100 stations nationwide. Guess how many stations they came up with that could take a show like ours? Out of 100, 5.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. So there's a lot of
zero. Well, on the bright side, if we were to ask President Biden to give us preemptive pardons, there's only 5 other stations we have to worry about.
Okay, so folks, after January 20th, if you don't hear us, you don't see us, you can take a guess as to where we would be leaving. Abu Ghraib prison for me, for sure. Okay.
Ouch.
Okay.
I don't really like the color orange. Wearing orange in prison,
But, so lots of things happening, and last week has been crazy. The United Healthcare CEO was targeted in a brazen murder during broad daylight at about 6-7 o'clock in the morning. And the internet is actually going crazy with people actually applauding the guy for his actions.
The killer, you're meaning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The killer.
They're not, there's not a lot of sympathy for the devil that they're portraying the CEO as.
Well, here's what happened, folks. Okay, yesterday, I was signing up because it was the last day to sign up for Medicare, and I went in and I started checking price. So I've been with Aetna for the last 2 years now. I go back and I look at the drug pricing that Aetna has negotiated with Walgreens. I was paying like $500 something last year. Okay, that's my share. Now Aetna has a new and improved 2025 plan, and guess what? The drug pricing for me now, same drugs, same everything, same pharmacy, has now been jumped from 500 something to 13,000, almost $14,000.
And this is why people are so upset, because you're paying more money and they're denying a lot of people with the pre-existing conditions. There's so much chaos going on within the industry, and people are just really fed up. They've just had enough.
One of the big problems is that they're actually using AI to go over all the claims and figuring out what they can get away with for denying coverage. So it's getting scary out there, folks.
Well, the point is this, okay? This healthcare CEO, his annual salary, and we're not talking about bonuses and all of those other things, you know, the supplementaries that go with it, his package, was $10 million.
That's crazy.
Now,
And that's actually low compared to other CEOs, which are in the 20
Yes.
to $24 million range.
so that's the problem, folks. Someone is making money off of us, and now you have the original Medicare, and then you have this Medicare Advantage plans. And there's probably like about 6 pages or 60 plus companies, private industries that are offering this Medicare Advantage plan. My question is that if Walgreens has a negotiated price, so I decided to go with Blue Cross Blue Shield, okay? And my Medicare or my drug prescription cost for me with Blue Cross Blue Shield, same pharmacy, same medications, is $570 per year. Aetna wants me to pay $13,000, almost $14,000. So something is wrong with the way our systems are set up.
And this is why people are upset. That's the why people are not laughing at him, like you said, John, but they're upset because they're paying through the nose for something that's a fundamental need that they have. You know, there's children that need health care, seniors, a lot of things going on. And so people have had enough, and they're speaking out with their voices.
And healthcare is a fundamental right, or should be a fundamental right for every American out there. Heck, we are paying for free healthcare for Israel with our dollars, okay, and free education over there. Why are we not doing this? I think it goes back to the quote unquote pharmaceutical lobby, and we are constantly being told that the pharmaceutical lobby is so strong. What the heck is wrong with our systems, folks? Why are we allowed to have these so strong lobbyists who can, you know, just camp in Washington and go and talk to our legislators, so-called representatives that we are electing every couple of years, every 6 years for the Senate, and all they're doing is they're doing the bidding of these lobbyists rather than look out for you and me or our interests. On that note, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back on the other side of the break with more scintillating conversations. You are tuned in to The Lightning Strike, and you can go to our website, tlsradio.com, to follow us. Join us, send us a message if you want to today. If you want to text us, the number to call in or the number to send a message to is 773-763-9278. We'll be right back on the other side of the break. Okay, good morning, folks. Back on the Lightning Strike Sunday mornings. We are here from 9 to 10, and you are free to join us in our studios someday, or just go to our website, tlsradio.com, and send us what you are concerned about. The question that we have been discussing this morning is what is happening with the medical industry, especially the pharmaceutical industry, and our healthcare. Our healthcare is such a mess, and who is responsible for it? Now, do you think this guy with the worm in his head is going to come in and fix something, John?
I don't have a lot of confidence in that particular gentleman to fix it. And it's going to, I mean, the only way this gets fixed is to really tear the system down, because it's been a system that's been layered on and layered on. And, you know, we're talking about compensation. What's interesting, I was just looking up on Fierce Healthcare about how do they get to these $20 million salaries? It's actually compensation. The salaries, on average, are somewhere about $1.5 million. But then they get stock options and stock awards and things based on the performance of the company in terms of their returns. So in our healthcare, the people who lead our healthcare companies are incentivized by what their stock price is. Like that's a big part of the problem, because now you're just capitalizing our illnesses. And for them. If they get more money if they pay out less. So that's, I think, one of the biggest problems
And
that we have to address.
this guy was actually going to address a conference of investors.
Of course.
I mean, just
Yeah.
look at the word investors.
Yeah.
What are you
That
investing in?
proves that-
Are you investing in creating an industry? Are you, investing in creating something that is giving value? You are actually going to be investing in exploiting people for their fundamental need of productive healthcare. Okay, and this is crazy. The system has to really reboot, folks.
Yeah. I saw, if we have a quick second, I shared this with you guys. Max Kennerly, this is from, was a post on X. A notable aspect of private health insurance is the absence of any reason for it to exist. It does not contain cost, expand coverage, or expedite care. It makes those all worse. Its
And I
sole
think you
function is to
really
profit
think-
as a rent-seeking middleman between patients and providers. I
Okay.
thought that was a great summary of what that industry is. It is a middleman that is providing no benefit. And we see this when we get our explanation of benefits. You have the cost that's billed to the insurance company, then you have a negotiated rate, which people I know who actually work on this stuff in the back end say the negotiated rate that a healthcare company pays is what it costs to deliver the care. So what they're doing is saying, we're going to give you a discount. You give us a premium, but we're going to give you a discount by increasing the cost of the sticker price and then reducing it to the actual price of the service, and then saying, you see how great what we've done for you? And so that's the hide and seek that's going on that we all have to play in, but we have no control over that.
Well, I think it's time that we get control over it, or at least we start making people aware that this kind of shenanigans are going on. And folks, don't take things lying down, okay? When you have an issue with an insurance company and they deny your claim, they send you this 50-page letter, and in there somewhere there is a mention of, yeah, if you would like to appeal, you can appeal this decision. Now, who are you appealing the decision to? You're appealing the decision to the same people who denied your claim in the first part, right? So they're going to come back and they're going to deny it again, and then they're going to just drag it on forever. Meanwhile, you're still sick. Okay.
Yeah, you're dealing with this all while either caring for a loved one or being the person who's dealing with the healthcare trauma while you're having to spend hours on the phone fighting with your insurance company. You're already in a weak position.
There you go.
And this is the system that we're in, and they rely on that. They rely on the fact that people don't know. I think there was a change with ACA or Obamacare that you can now not your credit score cannot be affected by medical debt. So I think that's one of the big things that is not common knowledge now, because people feel threatened by this. If I don't resolve this right away, if I don't pay this before it goes to collections, then my credit's going to go to hell. And that's part of the threat
Oops.
that allows them to continue this system.
Well, here's the thing, folks. We are setting up our own studios over here, and so today is the second show that we are doing out of our studios, and it's a little bit of a hit and miss. So if you don't hear us properly, then please take it that it's a growing pains, but we're trying to bring to you some really good quality content. John, the other day, yesterday in fact, I was telling you about something that you can do with the insurance companies by not taking that appeal. What was that?
I don't remember the term. There's a state board, right? It was the state health board that you can go to, which is that third party that you want.
Correct. So
reviewing
what
this.
happens is that if they deny your claim, say, okay, thank you, I am not going to file an appeal with you guys. I am going to file with the state for a review, and there's going to be a review from the state. Now they will immediately come back and they'll say that, hey, sorry, how can we resolve this for you? Because if you have to go to the state, here's what happens. Your doctor shows up for the hearing. So you ask for a hearing, okay? Say, I'm going to file for a hearing.
Right, right.
Okay. So your doctor shows up at the hearing with the medical reason for what the procedure or whatever drug that the doctor had prescribed, right? And the insurance company now have to come in with their counter as to why that claim was denied.
Yeah.
That will scare the pants off of these insurance companies and the CEOs, folks. So keep it in mind that when you are actually facing an insurance company, number one, don't be afraid. And don't be afraid to go back and ask for a second opinion, even from a medical perspective from another doctor. But the system is so fundamentally flawed at this point, even with ACA and everything.
Right. The system is fundamentally flawed because they have their lawyers that will fight for them when you do go to court. So it's not so a slam dunk for the consumer. So there's a lot that the consumer has on them, not only paying the bill, but just fighting for justice in the insurance system.
Yeah, and look, we're the only industrialized country that does not have some form of socialized medicine, and it's been done in other countries. And what you'll hear from, the people who are lobbied or the lobbyists that say, oh, you can't do that here, and nobody will have choice, and you'll have to wait for procedures. Like, those are all just smokescreens to not have a conversation about single-payer health care or Medicare for all. It might be, we have a very efficient 2% is the administrative cost for Medicare as it exists now. So like they say, oh, you can't do this, government can't do anything. We're told government can't do literally anything, and yet that's because government gets defunded and programs get defunded. We can do this better and deliver better care and better outcomes, because what we're seeing in the system now is not better healthcare. These other countries are delivering better outcomes.
Well, on that note, folks, if you want to join the conversation, you can text us at 773-763-9278 today. The number again is 773-763-9278. You're tuned into the Lightning Strike. We're actually coming from our own studios now, and that saves us a long drive to WCPT, but we will be coming back to WCPT back and forth depending on how things shake out over here. But the important thing again is to remember that we have to take our government back. Okay, I don't mean there should be a revolution or something like that. Please don't take it like that. But hold our elected representatives accountable, man. That's all I'm asking for. Go up to your congressman, go up to your senator, and say, hey, this is an issue I'm facing. What are you doing about it? The problem that comes in, John and Ken, is that our elected representatives, like Murray was saying the other day, that almost 80% of our elected representatives are under the influence of a lobbyist. Okay, why do we have this system? That is the question that I keep on asking myself. Ken, you wanted to say something? You wanted to take a break?
Yeah, let's go to a break right now, and on the back end of that, I'll have a comment for you.
Okay, sounds good. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back on the other side. Okay, folks, good morning. We are back on the Lightning Strike over here on our own station over here at WCPT 820 AM. And if you want to join the conversation, please go ahead and send us a text on 773-763-9278. We come every Sunday morning from 9 to 10, and then you can go to our website, which is tlschicago.com or tlsradio.com, and watch the show, listen to the show. You can also go to Spotify and look for the Lightning Strike radio show. That way you can catch up on our previous episodes also. You can also go to the Facebook page for WCPT or the Facebook page for TLS Radio and join the conversations. So today's conversation has really started off on a very hot topic with our healthcare costs. What is happening with our healthcare system? And here's the thing, John. When a CEO, rich person, gets murdered, the entire city of New York, Sheila, shuts down to look for his killer. What happens with all the other people that are getting, right and left, that are having their lives snuffed out? Why is the police department not being so active in chasing after those people? They come back in, they say, okay, it's going to be $10,000 for information, and then they jack it up to $50,000. The entire country is going nuts, and now our incoming president and his administration, his son, the genius behind coming up with J.D. Vance as the vice president, you know what he said yesterday? He said, folks, we need your help. Get ready, go chase the internet, help us find this guy. Okay, now,
That should work out well.
It's the buddy system.
Yeah.
is that what your administration is going to be, President Trump? That you're going to ask the people, because you're going to dismantle all the government agencies, right? This guy, Kash Patel, by the way, the Indian community does not pronounce it as Cash. We say Kush. Okay, which is a cushy job for him anyhow. This guy comes in, folks, and he makes this statement that on day one, he's going to shut down the FBI and reopen it the next day. What do you think this is, Mr. Patel? Do you think this is a 7-Eleven or a motel that you're buying?
Wow. That's
Okay,
interesting.
just think about it. Day one, I'm going to shut it down and then put up this big banner saying under new management.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work.
That is not how the system works, my friend. Okay, you may look googly-eyed in all your pictures and stuff, but that is not how the system works. No matter how much you suck up to President Trump, you cannot just go in on day one and shut down the FBI and reopen it the next day under new management.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's like doing small business. This is how they're operating. We're the largest, a very civilized country, and we're acting like we're going backwards. This doesn't make sense, really.
Yeah. Well, this is the populist, notion that you can just, the people will do things, right? This very vague, ephemeral idea of people will somehow take control of things. And you have to have systems, you have to have checks and balances. And for all the talk of, the left wants to defund the police, what they're talking about is defunding the police that police our leadership, that police the government to not overstep, the IGs, those offices, the FBI. Those are things that they want to get rid of because those are the things that stopped him from overstepping the bounds last time in 2016 to 2019. So they want to defund the people who are policing the government so that they can then go after somebody and intimidate. And a lot of this we know with Trump is a lot of bluster, and he says things and they say, oh, he's not really going to do it. The problem is making threats is an illegal act. And they want to be able to do that with impunity because the people that would then you'd be able to report to, I was threatened politically, I was threatened for speaking out. Well, who are you going to go to? You're going to go to the FBI when they go, yeah, but you said something bad about Trump. So we lock you up for that. If you said something bad about Biden or anybody else, we'll go after those people, right? Or that's okay. So this is the problem with this populist notion of saying the government's all bad and we're going to get rid of the things, we're going to fix all that by just making it so it's one-sided. And that's a big problem that I don't think this country has really wrapped its head around, even though it's pretty clear that's what he's intending to do. It's not a joke. You listen to any of the right-wing news media, and it's like, oh, he didn't mean that. He's just joking about it. He's not going to round up everybody. They keep sending out cross signals. We're going to deport everybody. We're not going to deport everybody. We're going to deport. Well, that's the destabilization that fascist regimes. thrive on, the confusion that freezes people up and stifles open discussion on issues.
And that is something that you really have to step up your game, folks. As citizens of this country, it is our responsibility to be vigilant about our rights.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
We have responsibilities along with rights. Don't give up those rights by shirking your responsibility. At least go out and vote. You know, it's really amazing the percentage of registered voters who come out to vote is ridiculously low in our country. And then you have all of these people running for office time and again. I've been asking about a couple of things, and I think I don't disagree with everything that Trump is doing. Okay, it's not a blanket disavowal of everything Trump is doing is wrong. There are some good ideas. Okay, once in a while, I mean, the brain worm gets into his brain also. Okay, like I have been advocating for quite some time about term limits for Congress. Okay, the pushback that I get, folks, is, well, no, there's a lot of institutional knowledge that these Congress people have. That's nonsense, okay? Most of the time, these Congress people are spending about 60 to 70% of their time trying to raise funds to get reelected in 2 years.
Career
And-
politicians.
Well, I mean, I ran for Congress. I took a chance at running for Congress in 2019, and I was blown away by the numbers that I was seeing. How much money it takes to run for Congress. Why? I want to represent the people, okay? And then I look at how much money the person that I was going to run against, the incumbent,
Yeah.
he was in his second or third term, and he already had $17 million in his campaign fund. Now, if you look at the top 3 contributors, healthcare companies,
That's right.
Pretty up there, man.
lawyers representing healthcare companies. Okay.
And large corporations are donating
Yeah.
to them as well.
Yep. And so,
Military contractors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
the
do you
things that-
think these people have an incentive to help you and me and really represent us? Heck no, they are too busy trying to protect their own backside and be in that seat. Our Constitution, folks, was never designed to make this, congressional representatives a lifelong job. This was supposed to be gentlemen farmers in those days who would come in, make the contribution to the state, and then go back and do their farming. These guys don't have a job that they can go to if they don't get reelected the next time.
So you're saying you do not agree with Citizens United?
Yes, I was going to bring that up. But that's a key point, Ken. I mean, that's because, and again, you haven't even talked about the dark money that
Yep.
Citizens United has allowed, the PACs, where we don't know. And the Trump administration right now is taking money from sources because they haven't signed ethics agreements to disclose for the transition.
Yeah.
So they're getting money pouring in. We have no idea where that's coming from. When you talk about influence, this could be coming from Russia or other enemy states to the fundamental democracy, and that want to see America move to a fascist regime where they deal with one person, they win his approval, and then they get whatever
Whatever
America
they
has
want.
to offer.
They get whatever they want.
And so this is a huge problem that Citizens United opened the door to. And now we see an unethical leader saying, I'm just not going to tell you. So how do you know who's
Well,
influencing Trump?
this
on any given day?
guy, I'm sorry, folks. If you are, Trump diehard loyalists, please take a deep look inside your own soul, okay, and see, does this guy represent your Christian values? If you're, on the right, far right Christian, platform, he does not represent anyone's values except his own. I mean, he has not still disclosed his tax returns. I don't know what kind of audit is going on
Yeah.
for 10 10, 20 years now. Now, if that is the kind of leadership that we have, then I think you deserve it. A lot of the people that I talked with now who voted for Trump, they're having buyer's remorse now.
Definitely. There's a lot of people that want to know, how can I change my vote? That was a big search on the internet. Can I change my vote?
Well, that right there is petrifying, because like this is the civic education in our country is so
Okay.
so horrible that people don't know you can't change your vote once you cast it. So, not only do they not, we talked last week about 140 million people voted
Okay.
in this cycle.
So, folks, we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back on the other side of the break with some more conversation. We are getting into the last segment of our show today, and our person of the week unfortunately could not join us. We're going to reschedule her for coming back into the studios or calling in a couple of weeks. But meanwhile, if you have any questions, any concerns, feel free to send us an email through our website, tlsradio.com. Okay, folks, we are coming back on after our short break, and you are tuned into the Lightning Strike. I'm your host, Mohammed Fahim. With me in the studios today, Sheila White, Ken DeLuke, and John Arena. And we are actually trying to come from our own studios that we are setting up. So there's going to be a slight learning curve that we are experiencing at this point. And if you don't hear us, or if there's any kind of issues that you're facing, feel free to come back later on and check us out as to what we are doing over here in the studios. Okay, so I can see that we are live on Facebook, and if you don't see us, and if you want to see us, okay. Carol Sanders has sent a message that speedy trial law must trigger automatically and not require defendants to have prior knowledge. I don't know, Carol, what you are referring to. That is something that we have not discussed today. But if you want to make any kind of comment on that, you are more than welcome to go on our Facebook page and send us a comment. So, John, what happens with the House control now?
So it's looking like the Republicans will retain control, but in California, a couple of races have been called after the counts have come in. And because there's 3 seats that are going to require special elections to fill, it's going to be a 217 to 215 majority for the Republicans. So that's 2 seats, which means everybody has to be present and nobody has to defect on the Republican side on some of these critical policies like funding. And we know that that's going to be incredibly difficult because the far right Freedom Party has very much doesn't want to fund anything. So we're going to have a tough time. I think December 20th, there's supposed to be a spending bill approved so that we can continue on. They've had continuing resolutions to get us through this kind of embattled Congress that we just were coming out of. And the next one's not going to be any less embattled, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be a really rough ride to get some of the funding packages done. And again, this goes back to elections have consequences. And what is the administration going to do to get some of these things passed? What are they going to have to give up in order to get the votes they need to pass?
Okay, so what do you think are the chances of this new Department of Government Efficiency that is being
Well, one, it has to get funded because
That is
right
being-
now there is no Department of Government Efficiency
Okay.
to actually do anything. It is just 2 guys that have been pointed to. One is a pump and dump stock guy, and the other one is a guy who just buys successful companies and then takes the money from it and is the richest man in the world. So
Well-
I mean, we really don't have a department to do that. Is that a good thing? And if it focuses really all of its attention on the military spending that we do, because we spend a good majority of our budget is military spending, then maybe they could actually cut $2 trillion or whatever number they're throwing out there.
That's such a bunch of nonsense, folks. Okay.
It's
Department of
performance theater.
Government Efficiency, and that department is being chaired or led by 2 people. Okay.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Let's see. Yeah.
Well, that is very efficient, though.
Dr. Jekyll and his twin brother. I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
really nothing's
Okay,
hidden.
this guy Vivek Ramaswamy. Okay, first off, he claims to be a self-made millionaire. There's no self-made millionaires. You got to climb over people's backs, multiple people's backs, in order to make that kind of money.
Yeah.
And then what these guys do, folks?
You know how he made his money, right?
Yeah.
He bought the patent to a
Acquired drug,
a
for a
failed
failed drug,
drug that was supposed to help with Alzheimer's and
Yep.
stuff, and then pushed it through into FDA review, all the while talking it up and talking his stock price up, and then just before he didn't get his third review by the FDA, which he was going to fail, he sold all his stock. That's how you make millions of dollars in America, folks.
Okay, and meanwhile, we have companies like we started off talking, Aetna wanting to jack up my drug costs for an improved plan in 2025. Oh, by the way, but they're going to give me free health club membership.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and also every 90 days, every 3 months, they give me $90 for over-the-counter medications that I can get from their website on CVS Pharmacy.
There you go.
And
Yeah, now they're
It's-
limiting which pharmacies you can go to.
Right,
So all of
right.
this stuff about choice is really
Okay.
amazing. Because that's the same thing that happened with our transition. We went from United Healthcare in
Uh-huh.
October to Blue Cross. So now we can't go to CVS. We have to go to Walgreens. This is all new. That you used to be able to go out and go to the provider you felt best, and now, for all we heard that the ACA was going to kill our choice, it's not the ACA that's doing it. When you have the ACA, you can go to wherever you want to
Uh-huh.
go for the service. It's the private healthcare companies that are saying, no, you can't go there. You can only go here. So, come on.
It's a
I mean,
plug-in drug. It's what it is.
Yeah.
They're going to contact you through your
Okay.
computer, through your phone. It's a plug-in drug.
Yeah.
So
And then you have this online pharmacies that can get you a better deal, and then you have companies like Good RX which are coming in and getting you a heck of a much better deal than
That's
these
right.
so-called negotiated rates with the insurance companies.
exactly.
Folks, something is wrong, man. I wish that I could run again for office, but I don't want to. Okay,
it's a lot.
it's not so much the hard work that goes into running for office, it's just staying in office. We can have a much better conversation by going on what we are doing right now than getting into an elected position.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
because
true.
And what we really
Very
need
true.
is younger folks to run. I mean, that's
Yes.
what we really need, because as much as I respect your experience, the overall problem in government is the average age is well over 60 years, and you don't form new ideas and new ways of
Exactly.
seeing the world at that
Exactly.
point.
Exactly.
absolutely, John.
Yeah.
I
Not as the
agree with
norm.
you. I agree
So it's
with
the
you.
younger class, and you see some of these really vibrant and energetic leaders coming into Congress that are speaking out and speaking truth to power, and they need a bigger roster. They need more people. So that's the encouragement I would give. If you're young, if you're 20 years old, think about running. Put together a plan now. Run for local school councils, run for local offices, start there, and then build your resume and move up in the ranks. Or help campaigns for younger folks, progressives, run. They need those resources. It's time and money, they say, and time is a really big feature, and it'll reduce the amount of money you need if you have more people.
Yep. So today we wanted to also talk about Joe Biden's pardon and what is happening on the right, how everyone is flipping over Joe Biden. Biden promised that he would not pardon his son. He broke his promise. Man, come on! If it is your child and he's being railroaded in quite a few things, okay. Yeah, he may have made mistakes. He admitted that he paid the fine, okay.
Yeah. But there's over 20,000. There was an analysis of how many people had checked that box. The
Yeah.
same box that he said, I don't take drugs, give me a gun permit.
Mhm.
20,000. Nobody has ever been convicted of that and sent to prison. He was going to go to prison for that. That is the most ridiculous thing. And you didn't hear anything about from the gun rights folks who would lose their frickin' minds if some average Joe on the street was going to go to prison for that. But Hunter Biden's the exception. He's more dangerous because he checked that box.
And think about what
Go ahead.
Trump did. Trump, in his last, he let a lot of people pardon. He pardoned a lot of people, criminals,
Yeah,
a lot of
actual
criminals, and
criminals.
nobody's saying anything
Yeah.
about that. These
Like
were
Steve
actual
Bannon, who
Steve
defrauded people
right?
through a charity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So nobody's complaining about that, but someone has sympathy for their son.
There's an interesting anecdote that I can offer. So locally on the northwest side of Chicago, the alderman that came in brought in a new ward soup. It's somebody who kind of makes sure that the ward is pretty and clean, make sure the garbage gets picked up. So he has pretty broad latitude. This guy was targeted in a sting for trying to sell a functioning World War II era machine gun, a fully automatic machine gun. He was carrying it around in his truck, in his city truck, and tried to sell it on city time. So this has been going on for years now. His name is Charles Stekenik. You can look up the story. And just this week, the same week that Biden pardons his son for checking a box that he shouldn't have. This guy is going to get. They cut a deal after 3 years of this going round and round. He cut a deal to plead guilty, but if he stays clean for the next year and doesn't try to sell any other guns, I guess, it will be completely expunged from his record after a year. So look, I mean, just weigh those two things right there.
Wow.
Trying to sell a fully functioning machine gun from a city vehicle while you're on city time.
Wow.
You get pardoned.
You get pardoned, yeah.
But you're going to
John,
lose your mind over.
He didn't have Hunter Biden's laptop.
That's true.
Okay. So
It's just ludicrous. So everybody and I've listened to a lot of Tim Miller. I really respect him. He's he's a conservative commentator and is a never Trumper, but he's been losing his mind about this whole thing.
well,
And so it's like to go off to say that, oh, this is giving the Trump administration, carte blanche to pardon everybody and do it, like you said,
Yeah.
Sheila, he did that and he's going to do it again. They're just going to say, oh, well, because Biden did it. Come on. That's ridiculous.
Okay, folks, we are coming up to the end of our hour, and again, today's show is we have been in and out a little bit, and my apologies for that. But coming back next Sunday, we should be in full force again. And if you have any questions, any suggestions, please go to our website TLS Radio for the Lightning Strike, TLSradio.com. Send us a message, and we'll be more than happy to get back to you and see if we can get you on as a guest on the show someday and discuss these topics. This is our country. Let's take it back. We cannot just flop over and say that, hey, you know what, the next 4 years, everyone is going to go into a rabbit hole and just make sure that we don't come out into the sunlight because Kash Patel is going to get us, okay, or Tulsi Gabbard is going to get us, or Trump is going to get us. It's not going to happen like that, folks. It's not that easy. The House control is almost...
The preceding program, The Lightning Strike, was sponsored by Mohammed Fahim, and to the extent applicable, their guests. The views and opinions expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of Heartland Signal, LLC, or its management.
But you're not buying a 7-Eleven or a motel that you can put in a sign saying and the new management. On that note, folks, we'll be back again next week, same place, same time, 9 to 10. This is Mohammed Fahim signing off on the Lightning Strike. With me in the studios, Sheila White, Ken Luke, and John Arena.